That just put it in the bag for us. He literally just gave us the win.
If our island is garbage, never mind those election people they're running for it. For me, they are garbage too.
I don't think he really understands what he's talking about when he's talking about Puerto Rico's garbage.
It's a
So welcome back to this channel. So if you're new here, my name is Belinda and here is Ballistic Jace. Don't forget to please subscribe to this channel and turn on notifications. So this has been going all over the social platform to the fact that this guy decided to call Puerto Ricans garbage island, and this got a lot of people reacting, especially Puerto Ricans, because it's not sitting down on them. I'm just going to roll the clip as well as the stitches I was able to put together. Please leave me your own thoughts and let's dive into it.
Where are my proud Latinos at tonight? You guys see what I mean? It's wide open. There's so many of them. It's absolutely incredible. Believe it or not, people, I welcome migrants to the United States of America with open arms. And by open arms, I mean like this. It's wild. And these Latinos, they love making babies too. Just know that. They do. They do. There's no pulling out. They don't do that. They come inside, just like they did to our country. Republicans are the party with a good sense of humor. It is absolutely wild times. It really, really is. And, there's a lot going on. Like, I don't know if you guys know this, but there's literally a floating island of garbage in the middle of the ocean right now. Yeah. I think it's called Puerto Rico. Okay. All right. Okay.
As a Puerto Rican, I am livid. Today, at Trump's rally in New York City, Madison Square Garden, a podcaster by the name of Kill Tony equated Puerto Rico as a floating island of garbage. Not only did he say that, but he also stated that Latinos love making babies and they don't know how to pull out. There's no pulling out. They don't do that. They come inside like they do our country. Little does this asshat know that Puerto Ricans are Americans. And if the majority of the Puerto Ricans left the island, came to the States to vote, Republicans would be asked the fuck out. Do you know how many Puerto Ricans live in swing states? How easily they forget that Donald J. Trump, during his presidency, when Hurricane Maria hit the island of Puerto Rico, he went to the island for a photo shoot. He delayed response to Puerto Rico. And not only that, but when he did go visit the island, he threw paper towels at my people. As soon as this statement was made at his Trump rally, Bad Bunny, the biggest and most popular Puerto Rican artist, reggaetonero, came out and endorsed Kamala Harris on his Twitter account of 45 million followers. He actually posted a video as to what Kamala Harris and the plans that she has for Puerto Rico and its economy. If you are a Puerto Rican and you are still voting for Donald J. Trump, shame the fuck on you. You know what we call people like you? Vendepatrias.
We're not laughing. 6 million Puerto Ricans in the U.S., the second largest population of Latinos in the U.S., are not laughing. Mexicanos, Colombianos, Hondureños, Salvadoreños, and every nationality represented here from every Latin American country are not laughing. In fact, all 65 million Latinos living in the U.S. don't think it's funny what was said last night at the Trump rally. And let's make one thing clear. His campaign began in 2016, declaring war against all Latinos by calling all Latinos rapists and murderers. And suddenly, every racist person in America found their leader. They no longer had to hide behind the keyboard. Now they have a voice. And they can say what they really think of all Latinos. And this leader gave them a voice like he did last night at Madison Square Garden. We're not garbage, rapists, murderers. We're teachers, doctors, attorneys, journalists, and yes, farm workers. We are generations of sweat and tears that has made the U.S. what the country is today. Our presence is everywhere. Schools, hospitals, courts, restaurants, hotels. And you would not be eating that plate of food without a Latino first pick those fruits and vegetables. Oh, and one more thing. Latinos, we can also vote.
Puerto Rico is a floating pile of garbage in the middle of the ocean. Primarily, I think it's really interesting that this analogy is being used in support of a campaign that refuses to acknowledge the literal garbage patches in the Pacific Ocean because they refuse to acknowledge the corporate incentivized degradation of the environment or climate change or anything related to the sort. But that it's always the people actively dehumanizing Puerto Ricans on a national stage, using our poverty rates and our economic situation to disparage us, that refuse to discuss how we arrived to this point. Ever thought and wondered why, despite two parties being complicit in the political, social, and economic repression, the lack of acknowledgement, because I will say that I find it quite appalling that the Democratic National Convention did not mention Puerto Rico as a part of their agenda at all until there was an opportunity and a moment to seize. The United States of America, despite their clear lack of regard for the Puerto Rican people, fight tooth and nail to hold on to us, to make sure that the quote-unquote last colony in the world, debatable term, is kept under the U.S. empire? Is it perhaps the multi-billion-dollar revenue stream that you make out of our occupation every year? Puerto Rico is not a territory that arrived out of thin air, poor and underdeveloped. It is a territory that was invaded by the United States, a victim of a military dictatorship and the consequent artificial degradation of our economy to satisfy U.S. corporate and political interests. Think about the debt. Have you thought 2 seconds to think about who this debt is owed to? The debt that has paralyzed development in Puerto Rico and that has geared all of our resources towards satisfying this repayment. Wall Street. Who's in power in Puerto Rico, overruling the say of the local elected officials, democratically elected by the Puerto Rican people? They go below what? A fiscal oversight management board. With who? With representatives from Wall Street. How did Puerto Rico even enter the United States imperial paradigm? Invasion, right? And after invasion, what was the first thing the United States did, besides the military dictatorship and the degradation of any kind of lasting democratic institution that was there? Devalue the local currency. It has always been an economic project. Devalue the local currency to 40% of a US dollar. What does that mean? Every Puerto Rican that had money in the bank, that had a property in hand, it was suddenly worth 60% less than it was before. From day to literally, a 10-minute video, a 20-minute video is not enough for me to outline every single policy and mechanism that the United States has undertaken to thwart the growth of the Puerto Rican people, to decimate our spirit, to decimate our culture, literally and figuratively, because in terms of population, there was a literal eugenic program that used Puerto Rican women as birth control lab rats, sterilizing them against their will with the legal rationale that this is somehow okay because we needed to control our too quickly growing brown and poor population, which I remind you is the same argument imposed in the insular cases, which is the set of Supreme Court decisions that outline the paradigm of the colony and that justify why we are how we are. And this isn't me making it up word for word. The reason Puerto Rico has a position where the Constitution doesn't follow the flag is because of our distinct brown and inferior population. And these cases have been cited again recently, twice. So this isn't a remnant of an antiquated set of policies that was somehow forgotten. This is reaffirmed recently. Another example I really like to bring up to people is the plantain crisis. After the hurricane and the natural disaster, Puerto Ricans were having a hard time supplying the demand for plantains. And say, in order to fulfill this need, you wanted to buy plantains from the Dominican Republic. They couldn't come in Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico. They had to go Dominican Republic, Florida, pay the extra cash to switch it into a US vessel, and then come to Puerto Rico. That is how all of our economy functions when it comes to providing basic goods. So think about that during the hurricane. We only received a 10-day waiver from this policy, which is imposed during the Jones Act. So if countries sent us international aid and they arrived to Puerto Rican ports after those 10 days, they were returned. Either you go to Florida, switch into a US vessel, and then come back, or go back to where you came from. When you needed sugar, we were a sugar colony. When you didn't need it anymore, dump it out, figure it out. When you needed manufacturing during World War II, Puerto Rico is a manufacturing colony. When that supply can come from a mainland state, dump it out, figure it out. When you're organizing politically at the local level, if it goes against us, FBI, surveillance, kill you, figure it out. Like, if we are garbage, USA, I want you to be reminded that you created it. And before you ever even consider referring to Puerto Ricans as inferior to you, I want you to remind yourself that despite centuries of dehumanization and political, social, and economic repression, Puerto Ricans have retained their sense of identity. We've retained our culture. We've retained our language. We've retained our spirit. We've retained our power, and we are still here giving you a fight.
But it wasn't Trump who said that Puerto Rico was a floating island of garbage in the middle of the ocean. No, but he's done worse. He's done worse. He did worse when it took him almost 2 weeks to lift the Jones Act after Hurricane Maria, resulting in the death of almost 4,000 Puerto Ricans. He did worse where in the middle of all of the chaos of Hurricane Maria, all he could do was reference the debt of Puerto Rico and how much of a financial burden the island of Puerto Rico is on the United States. We don't even want to be here. He did worse when I hadn't even been able to reach my family. I didn't know if they were alive or not. And I had to watch the president of the United States throw paper towels at people that were literally just trying to survive. Like if he was throwing t-shirts at a concert, at a game. He's done worse. And while he didn't say it, these are the people that he has aligned himself with. These are the people that he continues to align himself with. And if you are voting for this man, these are the people that you're aligning yourself with. And it is not the first time, nor will it be the last time that something surrounding Trump or coming straight out of his mouth is disparaging to a minority community or a person of color or to an immigrant. It is not the first, nor will it be the last. This is normal for him, for the people that support him. So this is why I just don't understand why people that look like me, Hispanic, Latin, whatever, why do you think you're exempt? Why do you think that this doesn't include you? You think that they think that Puerto Rico is the only floating of garbage in the middle of the ocean? I'm looking at you, Cuba. Nobody is exempt. We are all the same. It doesn't matter if you're here legally or illegally or whatever. Your parents got an accent? Were you born in the United States? We're all the same. We're all the same. It doesn't matter. Puerto Ricans have American passports and we still get treated like shit. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So it doesn't matter that it didn't come out of his mouth. It might as well have. May as well have.
That just put it in the bag for us. He literally just gave us the win.
If our island is garbage, never mind those election people they're running for it. For me, they are garbage too.
I don't think he really understands what he's talking about when he's talking about Puerto Rico's garbage.
It's a joke that gave a real bad taste in my mouth because I'm Puerto Rican.
Obviously, he doesn't know history and how much Puerto Ricans have done for this country, including serving in the military.
Todos somos humanos, todos somos hermanos. No es para estar hablando así, ¿me entiendes? Ese es un racismo.
He said it in the wrong way, wrong timing, wrong place.
Pero a él le falta respeto a la comunidad boricua, ¿tú me entiendes? Y para mí, eso fue una falta de respeto y ética.
He has no idea how hard the Latin community is about to come after and support Kamala Harris.
For my Puerto Ricans still supporting Donald Trump, let me give you a sad reminder of what life was like under Donald Trump as we are about 2 weeks away from the election. Now, I happened to randomly stumble upon an old article that was a reminder of just how dark things were and what he really thought about our people. Now, in the aftermath of Hurricane Maria that left thousands of people dead and countless others stranded with their livelihoods just completely gone, this man decided that he was going to block federal funds from reaching Puerto Rico that would have provided aid. That is what he thought about the people of Puerto Rico. While your family and mine were suffering, this man was playing games and purposely missing deadlines to send much needed aid to the people of Puerto Rico as they went through one of the worst moments of their entire lives. This is who you're voting for. A man who has shown you time and time again what he thinks of our people. If you still support this man after all that, you're a sellout.
I'm not sure why no one's talking about this, but one of the speakers at the Trump rally in New York called it a Yahtzee rally. He said, I just got back from Israel and here I am at a Yahtzee rally. It doesn't matter. I don't know how they're going to try to spin that into some sort of joke. It does not matter. They're calling it for what it is. There is no hiding it anymore. People think it's extreme to call them that. They are calling themselves that. They aren't hiding anymore. I cannot fathom how anyone could possibly still be in denial.
So I just wanted to come out real quick and talk a little bit about the floating island of garbage called Puerto Rico situation. And look, normally I don't like getting into politics because it divides so many people, but this shit's kind of hard to ignore. To me, personally, it has nothing to do with voting for Trump, voting for Kamala. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion on the presidential candidate, correct? The problem for me is, si tú dices ser puertorriqueño o ser boricua, and you don't find disrespectful what that comedian said, I don't care if it was a joke, I don't care, it was disrespectful, and there's a time and a place for everything. All right, you're not at a stand-up comedy show. You're at Madison Square Garden in New York with millions of Puerto Ricans there, all right, at a presidential campaign on national television making a joke like that. So if you say that you're Puerto Rican and you don't find that shit offensive, you should question yourself.
The floating island of garbage. Like, this is a statement that have taken all of the social platform to react to the fact that a comedian, during the Trump rally decided to joke around Puerto Ricans, calling them the island of garbage. A lot of people was so mad to the fact that this is coming from a rally. So people are angry to the fact that why is it that these statements are being used often as a sign of mockery, as a sign of, oh, you guys are in misery. Like, seriously, I wouldn't blame anyone for getting so upset to the fact that this statement is used at a time like this, in a period like this. So you guys know about the Hurricane Milton, Hurricane Helene, and whatsoever that took place, that's about last month or last week. And because of that, people should know that it has a negative impact in most of these islands that, so instead of this man or this comedian to come over, do his thing or do whatsoever that brought him to the rally, he decided that he was going to use people's predicament or people's, suffering as a form of caricature. Not only did he even say stuff about these Mexican people, he also have something to say with Mike Watermelon and black people. Like, seriously, is it that you don't know what else to joke about? Like, you don't know what else to do. You want to use people's oppression to joke about. Like, I wouldn't blame any Puerto Rican for being so angry and mad, even if some people still take it as, okay, it's just a joke. All right, it's just a joke, but this is a joke that is so expensive at this period, at this time. We don't know what is going to happen. A lot of people are just debunking that, oh, we are not going to vote for this person anymore because of this. Why some people are like, oh, we don't care about it. We are still going to go ahead and cast our vote to our favorite candidates. We don't know what is going to happen, if it's going to affect the way at which people want to vote, or if people are going to start changing their mind. But nobody knows. We're just going to cross our hands and hope for the best. But the only thing I have to say in this situation is the fact that using people's predicament or people's suffering or what people are going through as a form of caricature or to smile or laugh at them is something that is not acceptable. Not only do people like this are known for using such words, they are also the people that talks about Mexicans or these other people eating cats and pets. Like, seriously, they are fond of using such words. They are fond of using some kind of derogatory words that provoke people, that make you to start questioning what side are they on. Seriously. Like, when I saw this clip, I was like, oh, he actually tweeted talking about how it was all a joke. It was all a joke. But when Trump was asked about it, he was like, he don't know who this comedian, he don't know who brought them here. But this comedian was actually given a time to speak in your own rally. But now you don't know him, you don't know what he's talking about. Like, seriously. Anyways, I hope that he has actually addressed this and we all are going to move forward to the next. Why not just leave me your own thoughts in the comment section of what you think of this video, and please do not forget that we do not support any form of bullying and harassment. We are just here for educational and informative purposes. If you have not subscribed to this channel, why not leave me your own thoughts? Subscribe and I will see you lovelies when I upload the next one.